I ain't never heard of that. Passing around, got AIDS in my pack. No, I don't fuck with no cat.
What is going on, you guys? Today I want to talk to you about an installation I did last weekend on my cousin's E90. So he has an 08 BMW 328xi, and we just did an install for a Stage-2 cold air intake by aFe. He's just getting into the performance aspect of car mods, so this was his second one. He had done a sprint booster the week prior to this, which reduced his throttle lag and pretty much gave him more immediate power every time he pressed the gas pedal. The box includes everything you need, so a full enclosure to replace the factory enclosure. The filter itself is pretty big, it's 6 inches. It came pre-oiled with a solid plastic tube, and that filter is good for a solid 12 horsepower and 16 pound-feet of torque in terms of gains. And as you can see, we're just kind of getting the setup ready. So we have taken out the factory enclosure. We are just keeping the instructions handy just in case we need them at any step in the process. My cousin also had a YouTube tutorial ready. One important thing that I want to talk about, and this is from prior experience as well, is what I find with aftermarket parts is the fitment is always very iffy. Things usually need some nudging and prying before they could fit into place, and in this specific example we have the MAF sensor, which they had this little kind of spongy material that they were using for a gasket, and what pretty much happened was the screws they supplied were very small. So once you had the gasket attached and you had to press it in, the screws barely fit in the hole. And on top of that, I had made the mistake of taking the old screws from the factory housing that the MAF sensor was previously installed into and trying to fit them into the holes on the plastic tube that was supplied by aFe. So as you can see in the photos, these screws are completely different in length and tread, so I ended up damaging the treading on the screw holes in the new plastic tube. And what happened was we had to get a mechanic on site to help us out. We didn't end up going with the screws supplied by aFe. We found some screws that fit into the altered treading and also fit into the slot, taking into consideration the thickness of the gasket. Once we got that out of the way, it was a matter of installing the air filter with the tube attached into the new housing, and making sure that that tube was firmly attached to the adapter, and then installing the hose clamps and tightening the hose clamps. It did take a little bit of prying to get the tube to kind of fit into place and perfectly wrap around the adapter. And finishing up, we had to seal the enclosure, so putting the top on. This took just a little bit of time just to make sure the screws were in place before tightening them. And that concludes the video. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment on the car mods that you've been working on, and let's talk about it. Be back soon.
What you think of this wax? So sad all the time, boy, your head gon' snap in two. Cause I never had a crew when I never needed you. Don't get it, now you do, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.